I'm a product of Montgomery County Public Schools. I attended Montgomery College, and I say I proudly attended Montgomery College, and I know that it's very important that the tuition and what we're doing with their students there needs to remain affordable. It's an investment. I attended University of Maryland, and the little bit that I've ever learned at all has been in Montgomery County. Now, my wife and daughters, my wife works for Montgomery County Public Schools. My daughter also works for Montgomery County Public Schools as an administrator and as an administrative secretary. And they'll tell you they've taught me a little bit along the way as well. But I am someone that absolutely understands that if we're going to do something, we need to do it together. I know it sounds a little corny, and of course I've been corny my whole life, but I sincerely believe that a community is your family, and that our family right now has difficulties. And we've seen many signs, and I'm glad we've seen them, that says that we should make our pie bigger. And that's true. Make the pie bigger. I get to see it again. But I think what's even more important is what we're putting in the pie. And that's where we all have to work together to get this thing figured out. Our system is confusing, and somebody talked about the terminology. I think you talked about the terminology and whether we call it a COLA or whether we call it the general wage adjustment. When I got, first time I sat down with Montgomery County and worked on budgets, maybe not the first time, but when I worked on budgets, and they said, well, you know, this one has this COLA and this group has that, I thought, a COLA should be the same thing for everybody across the board. A COLA is a cost of living. I mean, how can one group say their cost of living is different if they're living next door to another person? So we need to make certain that our terminology, and not that I'm hung up on terminology, but we need to make certain that our terminology reflects what we're doing so that people are clear in what we do. The system itself is confusing. And I can tell you that, as an example, Montgomery County, the council comes later into the discussion than earlier on. We don't directly deal with the bargaining. We deal with the money. And to the point, well, you know, your staff wrote something and then we didn't have a chance to answer it. We're a transparent group. I mean, it's the old story of seeing sausage being made. It might not be pretty, but it's what's being made. That's how we react to things. So it's necessary that we continue the discussion. I do, to Mark's point, think that there's something to say about the restructuring of how we do things. In many cases, what we're doing is coming at the last minute and saying, well, I know that somebody else said that you can have this money, but we really don't have that money. And it's like, it's not a healthy system the way we're doing it. There's obviously needs to be checks and balances, but I think our table needs to change as far as what Mark was talking about before. And I believe that if we roll up our sleeves together, we can come up with something that is really going to work and be sustainable, not just for this year. I mean, you know, we all talk about the Washington football team, whose slogan used to be, you know, the future is now, and we can see how that's worked out for them. And I really believe that we need to make certain that our future is now and forever. That once we figure out what money we need, what our goals are, what we're trying to buy, that our system helps us afford that. And obviously there has to be a little flexibility because the economies change over time. But we have to be concerned about not only what we can pay for, but how we're getting the money to pay for it. We have plenty of people in Montgomery County. I think the number one growing population in Montgomery County is people who are seniors, some of whom are on extremely fixed incomes. And anytime we're working on ways to help out on that, but anytime we take $1 from them means that's $1 that they can't spend for medicine or $1 that they can't spend for food. And we have to keep that in mind, and we do. There's no simple answer, and I wish it was, because if it was a simple answer, we'd have done it already. I mean, it was a simple answer. I can tell you that every one of us up here, and those who are not up here this morning from the county council, all have good hearts. Every one of them, and I'm speaking for my colleagues here, but every one of us wants to do what's the right thing. The question is, what is the right thing? We're going to have to work in a complex way with complex solutions, and we need to do it. We're looking at various ways to do that. We're looking at a deferral for legislation for a deferral for our senior citizens if there is a tax increase, how that could affect them. We're looking at various additional fees for when someone sells their home. The list can go on. And we're looking at economic development. Economic development, once it changes, and every part of what our workforce does, it involves economic development and helps us with economic development. If we have better schools, businesses are going to want to come here. If we have a safe community, which we do, but if we have a safe community, people are going to be wanting their businesses to be here. And the list can go on and on. Bottom line on this for me is that I am where Mark is on this. I think that there needs to be a continuing dialogue. I believe that this should not be something that says this is what we're only listening to each other. We're listening to everyone, and it's beyond this room. I mean, I had someone just the other day say to me that, you can't, the people that show up in the room are representative of the room. You have 1 million people outside the room, which is true, and we still want to hear from them and to give us their thoughts as well. Every time we suggest something, no one in Montgomery County is shy to let us know their opinion. But bottom line is, I thank you for what you do. I thank you for continuing to do it. And I thank you for continuing to work with us so that once we come up with a solution, it's not easy, but once we come up with a solution, it's going to be something we're proud of, and it's going to be something that's sustainable. Thank you very much.